For the second time in the last 2 months, Memphis Grizzlies star Ja Morant finds himself in a mess of his own making after seemingly brandishing a gun on Instagram Live.
Not again!
The first time around, Morant earned an 8-game suspension from the NBA for conduct detrimental to the league, put himself through counseling, and ultimately vowed to change the narrative about himself following what he described as a bad mistake. Now, however, in the wake of another practically identical indiscretion, it's going to be very hard for the 23-year-old to change the narrative.
What were you thinking?
The encore presentation earned Morant a suspension from the Grizzlies pending a league investigation, and it's safe to say that major consequences are going to follow. So what does this latest incident mean for Morant? Let's break it down. Sit back, relax, and take this in. It's hard to overstate just how staggering and swift Morant's ongoing fall from grace has been. As recently as New Year's Day, Morant was widely regarded as the future face of the NBA, a transcendent talent on his way to a second straight All-Star nod, with a 5-year Supermax rookie extension already in hand, plus lucrative sponsorship deals with Nike and Powerade. He was that dude. Since, however, his ascendancy has been derailed and his reputation has been badly stained by a series of troubling off-court incidents involving Morant and/or the company he keeps. In March, this procession of bad publicity seemingly culminated when Morant flashed a gun while on Instagram Live at a Denver nightclub.
For some unknown reason.
That incident led to a police investigation, no charges were ultimately filed, and earned Morant an 8-game suspension from the NBA for conduct detrimental to the league. That suspension, it should be noted, cost Morant almost $700,000 in salary and arguably lost him his spot on the All-NBA team, an honor that would have increased the value of his new contract extension by $39 million. Ostensibly, however, that messy affair was a turning point for Morant, who went through counseling during his time away from the Grizzlies and vowed to be smarter and more responsible moving forward.
And totally redeem yourself!
Except barely 2 months later, not long after Memphis was bounced by the Lakers in the first round of the NBA playoffs, Morant was at it again. This time, Morant flashed a handgun on Instagram Live while riding in a car alongside longtime friend Devontae Pack, who, by the way, was among the group of Morant associates who got into a post-game altercation with the Indiana Pacers traveling party in January and is currently serving a 1-year ban from Memphis's FedEx Forum. And while certain corners of the basketball world were understanding or forgiving or disinclined to pass judgment the first time Morant brandished a gun on social media, seemingly for the sake of it, nobody's giving him a pass this time. Not because owning and flashing a gun is necessarily illegal, mind you, but because Morant, a burgeoning superstar with everything to lose, continues to demonstrate highly questionable judgment about how to comport himself off the court and on social media, and, in the eyes of many, who to associate with. As former 12-year NBA veteran Kwame Brown put it,
"You got to be the dumbest motherfucker in the league."
Meanwhile, former Grizzlies forward Chandler Parsons took his condemnation a step further, calling for Morant to be suspended for the entirety of the 2023-2024 campaign. That's almost certainly not going to happen, but you should expect the Grizzlies to be without Morant for at least the first chunk of next season. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, there's a real possibility Morant could land a lengthy suspension to begin the 2023-2024 campaign. He also suggested that Commissioner Adam Silver will face increasing pressure from teams around the league who feel that Morant's behavior negatively impacts their ability to market their own teams and players, and expect other consequences to follow. Nike, for instance, is now reportedly expected to at least put their relationship with Morant on pause after standing by him in the wake of his first suspension. It wouldn't be surprising if his other corporate sponsors followed suit, deeming him an unworthy spokesperson, which, by the way, Powerade tacitly did back in March, when they pulled Morant's commercials and scrubbed him from their website. Simply put, this incident is going to be a major hit for Morant, financially and visibility-wise. And it's also going to significantly hamper the Grizzlies, a win-now team that now has to revise their offseason plans to account for an indeterminate absence from their best player, a player who also happens to take up 25% of their cap space. Still, while Memphis may be able to make it through Morant's forthcoming suspension unscathed, it feels like this latest indiscretion and the stunning lapse in judgment involved has cemented Morant's reputation for immaturity and thoughtlessness.
Get your together!
And although he seemed primed in the very recent past to eventually become the face of the NBA, Morant's increasingly long list of self-inflicted controversies has complicated that trajectory.